So, calling all true crime lovers, the award-winning podcast My Life of Crime returns for a third season today. 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty is going to take us deeper inside investigations, take on killers and people accused of crimes, and provide more extensive reporting that 48 Hours fans already love. Here's a preview.
We all lie. White lies, small lies.
I'm just going to ask you straight out. Did you kill Christy Wilson?
No, I had nothing to do with her disappearance.
Well, that's not quite what I'm encountering here.
Are you finally ready to admit that you killed your wife?
No, because I didn't. I did not suffocate, did not shove pills down her throat, did not do anything to hurt my wife.
And Erin is here in Studio 57 to talk more about what we can expect for season 3 of My Life of Crime. I'm so glad you are here. You know, I'm a big true crime, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but 48 Hours is the GOAT. You guys are not just talking about crimes that you read about. We're talking about correspondents that sometimes follow cases for years, sometimes a decade.
And we talk to the people. I mean, I have to agree with you. There are an awful lot of true crime podcasts out there, and people talk about the cases because everybody's fascinated by it. But we talk to the people, including the people accused of crimes. I mean, that you get a sense just in that little bit of how often, in fact, when I was putting these together, I didn't realize how often I do talk to accused killers. And one of the themes is really lying. How the lengths that people will go to, including lying, to avoid responsibility, to get away with murder. And so you really have to be on your toes. You have to know that case as well as anybody to be able to catch them in those lies.
Yeah, and I will say also you tell these stories with compassion. I know it's very titillating to talk about true crime, but you do not forget that we're talking about human beings and lives that are being sort of uprooted, and one of many reasons why I love 48 Hours.
Well, because really for me, I know some people do and are entertained by these stories, but in fact for me, it's really educating people, giving them a legal education. You know, we focus on legal issues and all this new technology. I really deal with that in this season. The new technology that is helping cops solve cases and solve it correctly. There's a case that I deal with that they could have gotten the wrong suspect because he looked like a good suspect, but because they used the Google dashboard and even the Fitbit, they got the right killer, who happened to be a drifter. Wow. So these are really interesting and important cases, and fine if people are entertained, but there really is a much more important reason for doing these stories.
So let me ask you this, though. You're used to doing this stuff on TV. I mean, are there challenges or benefits to doing it with just audio only?
Both. So on one hand, there's sometimes a challenge to put it on TV because you can't get enough pictures.
Right.
It's very difficult sometimes to get pictures. We don't need pictures. But on the other hand, I can't show someone the crime scene. So I have to describe the crime scene. But I find it a fun challenge, an interesting challenge. And it forces me to be more descriptive and I think a better storyteller.
You already have a full schedule with just doing your general 48 hours stuff. Why are you taking on this challenge of
because I do love this. I really do. It's a wonderful form of storytelling. And what really is great about it is, so I'm taking some 48-hour stories, but I'm expanding it or doing an update. So there was one case where we didn't know what happened to this woman who disappeared. Now I do, and that's part of my podcast.
I love that.
So, so there's a real reason for doing these cases.
So, Erin comes here to talk about the various hours that she's worked on, and then we get the benefit of talking to her off the air and getting all these sort of extra tidbits that can't go into the hour. And I've always thought someone else needs to hear this. And so this podcast gives you an opportunity to hear the stuff that we get to hear because we are lucky enough to work with you.
Any time that they want to hear it. You know, the first episode of this season is already out, and you can listen to it on wherever you get podcasts, but anytime you want.
Oh, that's me. Erin, thank you very much.